caused by other factors such as speculation, avoidance of the trade protection, international division of labor, etc., in the international economy. In the international economy, the trade barrier exists due to the trade protection. In order to get around those barriers, people tend to make international direct investment. That is, the manufacturers will invest and set up factories in the marketplace to engage in production and sell products on the spot. This process will cause the international flow of capital. In addition, the rapid development of transnational corporations after the World War II greatly prompted the international flow of capital in the process of transnational operation. Whether the vertical international division of labor investment or the horizontal international division of labor investment. At the same time, the process of economic integration developed after the Second World War II has removed barriers to the trade, capital flow, and personnel exchange among member countries in an integrated economy, making the flow of factors between countries an unprecedented possibility and accelerating the process of the international capital flow. The process of the European economic integration is an example, has not only promoted the movement of capital within the EU, but also in the regions with close economic tie to the EU. There are some major forms of the international capital flows. The international can be distinguished from different perspectives. The exporter of state capital and the importer and the exporter and importer the export and import of state capital and private capital, and long-term, short-term capital and direct investment and indirect investment and so on. So the many type to classify them. In the long-term capital flow, the capital flow refers to the with usually a life of more than 1 year or within a unspecified useful life. Generally speaking, the long-term capital flows include the direct investment, indirect investments, etc. The direct investment is to put money into many industrial and commercial enterprises, agricultural production, that is the equity investment, as well as the profit reinvestment, the transfer of funds of multinational companies, etc. But the direct investment always requires the ownership and the management of the enterprise. According to the IMF, the International Monetary Fund, the definition, the indirect investment should own more than 25% of the equity in foreign factories and mines. On the contrary, the definition of the international direct investment in the US requires more than 10% of the controlling equity. Of course, from the source, the long-term capital may be owned by private individuals, enterprises, national governments, or international economic organizations. Most of the indirect investment are securities investments, including loans between countries, bonds issued by foreign companies or governments, and stocks purchased for reasons other than seeking management rights. When people buy securities, they invest. For an economy, investment means capital outflows. International direct investment play an important role in world economy from after the World War II to 1980s. In the late 20th century, the international indirect investment, especially the impact of debt crisis of the developing countries on the world economy caused such investment attracted special attention. At present, the role and influence of international indirect investment has exceeded that of the international direct investment. The next is short-term capital flow. The short-term capital flow refers to capital flow with a life of 1 year or less. The international flow of short-term capital includes many forms, but mostly belongs to the category of indirect capital flow. In international economic practice, short-term capital flows can be roughly divided into the following categories. That is capital flow related to the international trades. Capital flow international trade and that is the international capital flow caused by existing finance or settlements in the process of international trades. Value preserving capital flows or capital cross-border flight of capital. To avoid the losses from deteriorating economic conditions, speculative capital flow is defined as the international flow of the capital caused by the transfer of funds across borders, taking advantage of the change in interest rates, exchange rate, or price of securities and commodities. Short-term capital flows are mostly in the form of commercial paper, short-term government bonds, negotiable certificates of deposit, bankers' acceptance bills, and demand deposits. The types of short-term capital flows are complex, frequent, and variable. In a country with a high degree of openness and lax exchange controls, the impact of short-term capital flow on the economy is profound and unpredictable. The whole course of the East Asian financial crisis, and in particular the short-term capital shocks that plunged that hit the South Korea, Thailand, and Hong Kong is the case in point. Economic analysis of these flows can be shown graphically, but you cannot see it. But mostly is the economic welfare measured in the capital flows between two countries, country A and country B, where the two prices converge by the marginal rate of return of capital, where the marginal product, or the other name is marginal product of capital, between the two countries. The two converge, so that will cause the two eventually reach the equilibrium to equalize the price. What? What do you mean? You don't understand?
Yeah, you need to shine more light. You need to explain. You need to give examples. You understand? Make us understand. Now, the thing is, when you read and you read what the club is saying, you ask us whether we understand or not. You are just reading. You are not explaining anything to us. We are not seriously. We are not understanding anything. We just say okay because we want you to continue. But you start and you repeat what the class is saying. It's a new course. It's something we've not done before. But you just read. You don't explain. Nothing do we even understand the calculation. A little bit of explaining will make us understand well. Because I see sometimes